schedule.
Okay.
In other words, our research is not terribly extensive. There aren't that many persons doing the research. I've done the bulk of it. During my tenure, I've had 65 doctoral students who have helped me with research. But we can't do everything, so we can't make many quantum leaps. But one thing we do know, that there is a skill learning sequence, and if you adhere to it, students are going to learn with a greater understanding and much more quickly. So if you think, well, look, I haven't done enough with solfege, it's a good investment in time to do more with solfege before you do improvisation. Because if you don't, they're not really going to know what they're doing. So I would say be patient and teach less, but do it well. If you have to do solfege, do it, and maybe you'll never get to improvisation, but at least they'll learn solfege. But if you skip verbal association and go to improvisation, you can do it with a neutral syllable,
Yeah.
but they're floundering and they don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
They need an anchor, and a solfege gives them the anchor. That would be my recommendation. At least the research indicates that that's the way to go. Yes, sir.
Do you do melodic improvisation as well as rhythmic improvisation?
Definitely. Yum ba-dum ba-da-ya, yum ba-dum ba-dum. I'll say, look, would you please take that same melody and do it for me in duple? Yum bumpy ya ba-da-dum, ba-da-da, yum bum ba-da-dum. So immediately I'll say, please use the same melody as an outline, but now start doing it in duple. So we improvise in different meters. Yum ba-dum ba-da-da, it could be ya-dum, be-yum, be-yum. As much improvisation as you can once you've taught solfege. If you don't use improvisation almost immediately, solfege becomes terribly boring. You have to teach improvisation to give students an understanding of why they're learning solfege. If they don't know why they're learning it, they don't do a very good job of learning. So I would get to it as quickly as possible, but in your case, make sure they know the solfege before you get there. Okay, any other questions before I leave this topic? Nothing at all? Practical application? Okay, let's talk now about instrumental music. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I have a question. If you
Sure.
have a student, you know, say you're teaching elementary and you have a student that comes into it at grade 5,
Yes.
and you have, you know, other students that you've had since first grade, how do you incorporate them into
Okay.
what the other students are already doing?
It's a very good question. By the way, I don't know whether any of you have seen the latest statistics, but over 70% of our population moves every 5 years. So it's a tough thing for teachers in schools who are trying to teach sequential learning. And your question is a good one, it's a real one. And so we did research on it, trying to find out how to answer a question like yours. And what I do is if somebody comes in, for example, as you know, in learning theory, la-da-da-bum-bum, the class sings yum bum 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 bum, and then once I'll point to an individual and ask them to sing solo. Because we find that unless they sing solo, they're not really audiating the pattern. If they sing an ensemble, they tend to imitate the person next to them. So I have to say, yum bum bum, sing with me and I'll show you yum bum bum. Yum bum 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 bum. One arm comes out, which means somebody's going to sing solo. Yum bum, and I look at you and tell you to breathe, but I ask him to sing. It's a technique you should pick up very quickly. Watch. Yum bum bum. Yum bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Yum bum 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 bum. Bum bum. So we have ensemble and solo singing. And so in answer to your question, I never ask that new student to sing solo until I can get them infiltrated into the program. So they just start singing ensemble patterns, but I don't embarrass them or give them a hard time asking them to sing solo unless they can do it. And one other thing I have found is that I generally assign a good student that I've had for a while to sit next to them, and they sing and listen to them and help them. And they report to me about how that new student is doing. So just don't have them do solo patterns, have them do ensemble, and give them a mentor. And I call the students mentors. How about some other questions, please? If there are no other questions, I'll get to, yes, sir.
What about lyrics and words? When do you introduce that
Well,
to the song?
I don't use words until after they can audiate. Again, the research, if I start, well, listen. I baked a ray of sunshine, I fried a silver moon, I stirred it all together with a peanut butter spoon. I ate a dish of lightning, I drank a glass of smoke, I jumped into a bubble, and this song is all a joke. What were you listening to?
Lyrics.
Were you thinking, oh, that song's in major? Were you thinking, oh, that song's in duple? No, you immediately gravitate to the words. Were you aware of ba-da-ba 5 1 da 1 5 1 2 4 2 1 da-da 1 5 1? No, you're saying, oh, that's such a cute song. We ought to use that for our program. And I'm not teaching music, I'm teaching nonsense. So it's not until I've taught audiation that I use words. I'm not saying don't ever use words, but don't use them prematurely. If you use words too soon, you block audiation, and you direct attention to the wrong thing. So I don't like words. There was a happy monkey who lived up in a tree. He swung from branch to branch as he sang so merrily. Chitter-chat-chat, chitter-chat-chat, all day long he sang this song. This very happy monkey who lived up in a tree. What's the monkey's name? I don't give a damn what the monkey's name is. But that's the first question I'll get, and I don't answer, and I'll say, well, was the song in duple or triple? Huh? They have no idea. I'm very, very down on words. And by the way, the words screw up the rhythm. That's why so many students have such terrible rhythm. They're looking for the words, and so therefore they distort the rhythm trying to find the right word. Get rid of words. Music books with words. Well, okay, so, okay, I'd like to get to instrumental unless you have more questions. Anything else? I don't know how much to tell you, whether I'm boring you or not, no? Hope not. Say something, will you?
Doing good.
What?
No, I just said you're doing good. On to instrumental music.
Keep going.
We have a question.
I have a question.
Get you in a minute, yes.
When doing pattern instruction, you demonstrated for individual students breathing with a student and gesturing to them, but then immediately gesturing to a different student. Why do you do that?
Okay, you spoke too quickly and I couldn't get it started once again.
So doing individual pattern instruction
Yes.
for a student, you